present over here. Welcome to the Heroines Women's Conclave by Her Money Talks and Her Second Innings. It is with great honor and enthusiasm that we gather here to build a platform that aims to foster collaboration and create opportunities for all the aspiring women from diverse backgrounds who wants to excel in their life and in their career. Myself, Amanpreet Kaur, I will be your MC for the whole event. I'm working as Associate Design Engineer at Intel, and I'm an engineer by profession, following my passion to become heroine of my life. Now, I want to invite Ms. Nisri Mahesh, founder and CEO of Her Money Talks, to please come on stage for welcome address. Ma'am, Nisri ma'am, please come on stage.
Esteemed chief guests, delegates, partners, the heroines here and the heroes, a very warm good morning to everyone. It's truly an exciting moment for Her Money Talks and Her Second Innings. It's a moment filled with pride and pleasure for us to host you at Heroines Conclave. To set the context, Her Second Innings, a platform for the career aspirations of women. Her Money Talks, a platform for the financial aspirations of women. We are joining hands here officially, envisioning a unique ecosystem for women with the support on key sectors, key domains like career, finance, entrepreneurship, and lifestyle. Having impacted the life of over 1 lakh of women in India through upskilling, opportunities, and financial empowerment, Her Second Innings and Her Money Talks are taking a next step further forward, building a more impactful 360-degree support ecosystem for women. On behalf of the two entities, let me take this moment to officially invite the esteemed chief guest of the day. May I invite first Ms. Ratnaprabha IAS retired, former Chief Secretary, Government of Karnataka. Mr. Ratnaprabha always inspires us with her leadership and vision for women empowerment. Ubuntu Consortium, founded by her, has been a pillar of support for women entrepreneurs pan-India. May I invite you, ma'am, to this occasion. No, just... No, ma'am, please. May I take the privilege of officially inviting Ms. Shalini Rajneesh IAS, who will be very shortly here. She is the Additional Chief Secretary and Development Commissioner, Government of Karnataka. She'll be here shortly. Ms. Shalini is a very versatile personality who is a source of inspiration for every woman as a leader, an orator, and as a writer. Inviting Ms. Aishwarya DKS Hegde, educationist, entrepreneur, investor. Being a leader at a very young age and as an innovator and reformer in education field, Ms. Aishwarya has been a true example of empowerment. Inviting you for this occasion. Inviting Mr. G. Shrikant, Senior Vice President and Zonal Head South, HDFC Mutual Fund, who has always been a mentor and guide in our vision for creating financial awareness and with a detailed eye for everything. We welcome you, Mr. Shrikant. Let me also invite Mr. B. Ulagian, DGM, SIDBI Bangalore Regional Office, who will be here shortly, and who has been he has been instrumental in empowerment of women entrepreneurs and MSMEs through the various initiatives of SIDBI. We welcome you to this occasion. I'm also taking this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to the diverse speakers, experts, panelists from various domains who are present here, yet to arrive, and who have taken out time from their busy schedules for being with us here today. Extending a warm welcome to the representatives of all the supporters, HDFC Mutual Fund, Bombay Stock Exchange, SIDBI, Ubuntu Consortium, Kotak Life Insurance, Siemens, and Prameya Healthcare. A warm welcome to all ecosystem partners and gifting partners who had helped to make this really big. A special mention to Ms. Jyoti Palakrishna, Ubuntu Consortium, Nikhil Jain, CS founder, Vision Astra, and Yadu Jadadevan from Intel Corporation, who have been supporting us in putting this together. A hearty welcome to all dear heroes and heroines present here, who are our true inspiration for coming up with this initiative and this conclave. Last but not least, welcoming all dear heroine team members without whom this would have been never happened. It's a true moment of excitement for her second innings and her money talks to host you all at Heroines Conclave. Welcome once more. Thank you so much.
Wonderful speech. We are about to commence our event by lighting the lamp of knowledge and wisdom. For this, I would like all the dignitaries to please come on stage and join us for lighting the lamp. Ms. Ratan Prabha ma'am, please come on stage. Ms. Aishwarya DKS Hegde ma'am, Mr. G. Shrikant sir, Mr. B. Ulagian sir, please come on stage. Also, I want Nisri Mahesh from Her Money Talks and Manjula Dharmalingam from Her Second Innings also to please join on stage. We have Shruti Bhide, who will grace the occasion with her melodious voice.
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणाधीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि प्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुखाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यकलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसदाराध्याय गुरुपुत्रपरित्रात्रे गुरुपाखण्डखण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गूढगुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोचयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणाधीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಕಂಪು ಸೂಸಲು ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಚಾಚೇವು ನಡುನಾಡಿ ಇರಲಿ ಗಡಿನಾಡಿ ಇರಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಕಲೆಯ ಕೆಚ್ಚೇವು ನಡುನಾಡಿ ಇರಲಿ ಗಡಿನಾಡಿ ಇರಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಕಲೆಯ ಕೆಚ್ಚೇವು ಮರಿತೇವು ಮರವ ತೆರೆದೇವು ಮನವ ಎರಿದೇವು ಒಲವ ಹಿಡಿನೆನಪ ನರ ನರವನೆಲ್ಲ ಹುರಿಗೊಳಿಸಿ ಹೊಸಿದು ಹಚ್ಚೇವು ಕನ್ನಡದ ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಚೇವು ಕನ್ನಡದ ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಚೇವು ಕನ್ನಡದ ದೀಪ ಕರುನಾಡ ದೀಪ ಸಿರಿನುಡಿಯ ದೀಪ ಹೊರವೆತ್ತಿ ತೋರುವ ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಚೇವು ಕನ್ನಡದ ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಚೇವು ಕನ್ನಡದ ದೀಪ
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್.
Now I request everyone in the audience to please stand up for national anthem. National anthem, ma'am.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Always remind us to thrive for excellence and inspire others along the way. As we gather here, let us not just celebrate our achievements, but also acknowledge the work that still needs to be done. Together, we can create a world where every woman has the chance to thrive, regardless of her background. Let us embrace our unique strengths and work together to create a future that is truly inclusive, equitable, and empowering for all. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Nisri Mahesh, founder and CEO of Her Money Talks, and Manjula Dharamlingam, founder of Her Second Innings, to officially unveil Heroines Community. Ma'am, please come on stage.
Thank you so much for just joining. It's really a pleasure to see everybody. So with the permission of esteemed guests over here and with the permission of all the delegates who are here, we are proud to unveil the heroine community for all of you. Also officially to declare that Her Money Talks and Her Second Innings coming together to bring the best out of every woman in India. Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to just unveil in front of you. Thank you.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ma'am. Officially launching Heroines Community. With this, I would like to call our first chief guest, Ms. Ratan Prabha ma'am, IAS ex-Chief Secretary, Government of Karnataka, for inaugural speech. Ma'am, please come on stage.
Good morning to all the heroines out here and the few heroes who are here to support the heroines. It's always a pleasure for me to participate in any event associated with women. And today is a special one because we are celebrating International Women's Day along with Her Money Talks and also with her second innings, which is a very important subject because many women, in spite of us talking about equality, many women do need to take a break for various reasons, and they are full of energy to come back. So I think this second innings is a very wonderful concept, which we have been also talking about, but there's a special, I can say, association formed for that. Congratulations to both Nisri and her team for coming out with this wonderful new concept. First of all, the time given to us is very limited. So it's like a competition, where within 3 minutes or 4 minutes, you have to speak the best. What, Shalini? It's very tough for us. for us. So I will just dwell on 2 issues. One is the theme for International Women's Day. Every year, the UN comes up with a new theme or something different for women. But this time I thought the theme was appropriate, just appropriate, which all of us are talking about. Invest in women. Invest in women, accelerate growth. These 2 points, speak trillions of what is needed to be done for women. But more than being done for women, I always say we women should do something for ourselves. We are all the time looking at somebody to do something for us. Either we want government to do or you want somebody to do it. But now I think we should change our thinking and we should say we women should do something for ourselves and we should prove a point. Each one of us, yesterday also I was speaking in a college, I said, all of us have a passion when you talk of entrepreneurs. So that passion, if you want that to reach the ultimate goal, it is left for you to achieve it, rather than looking at excuses why you couldn't achieve it. The second point is, as I could see, our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji, has been talking about reaching the 3rd position. Now we're in the 5th position, we should reach the 3rd position. And how do we reach it? 5 trillion economy we were talking about to reach from 24 to 25. Now we've reached 3.6. And to reach that, the total potential of women in various sectors have to be completely utilized. If you see the statistics, women contribute only 20% of the industrial growth. Some statistics say 25, some say 20, some say 12, some say 14. We actually don't know what is the thing, but we have not reached at least 50%. So if the women are given that kind of support to reach their total potential, which every woman has, I think we can achieve the dream of the Honorable Prime Minister. And today, we have 2 men sitting here, Mr. Srikant from HDFC, Mr. Ulagan from SIDBI, who have been supporting us. See, we need the support. The women need the support of the various institutions which are set up by the government to grow in business. I think with the support of the infrastructure and the potential which is available around us, we women would be able to reach that. And what I would like to say, the takeaway for today's heroines is, we must invest in ourselves. And we should be the agency to accelerate the growth. I'm sure all of you who are sitting here are role models in your own way. All of you have achieved something in life, and that is why we are all here. So let us all take a vow that each one will support one, minimum one. Let us support. I always say that women should think of supporting the other woman. And with this, I conclude my, what is this, inaugural speech. Thank you very much for coming here. Thank you, Nisri, for organizing this wonderful concept with HER, her, then OINES conclave. Wonderful, good concept. And we as Ubuntu Consortium are proud to be associated with this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful inaugural speech. It's wonderful having you here today with us. So I want to invite Ms. Misri and Ms. Manjula to please give a token of appreciation to Ms. Ratna Prabha ma'am. Please do the honor now. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. IAS Additional Chief Secretary to Government and Development Commissioner Karnataka. Ma'am, please join on.
Namaskara. Namaskara. Very happy to be with all the women for this very eventful celebration of bringing together women to bring out the best among women. As on today, we have about 27% of women in the labor workforce participation. The IMF study says that if 50% of the women are part of labor force, then the country's GDP can grow by 27%. So we'll reach that 50%, ma'am. So now the challenge before us is to cover up the remaining 23%. So we have already covered half the journey, and the rest half, we should not take a century to cover. We should try to frog leap. And for that, what are the strategies? How can we make it faster, make it happen faster? Everybody agrees that it should happen, but how can we make it happen faster? I had the data of 6th Economic Census, which says that about 13.7% of the establishments are owned by women, and which provide employment to about 10 million people, both men and women together. The SHGs today are only 0.19 million. The remaining are today in about 30% in agriculture sector, again unorganized, and animal husbandry sector, another 30% unorganized. Now, I think the best way and the quickest way of bringing in women into the organized sector of workforce participation or economic growth is to move them away from unorganized to organized. And events like this, organizations like what we are presenting today, are making that catalytic role. One simple example I would like to leave. Among the women who are into, let us say, food production, they have to dovetail their activities with the women in the agricultural sector, unorganized level, bring them into the organized level. Like FPOs, like SHGs. So from SHGs to FPOs to women entrepreneurs. That is the kind of value chain link that needs to be built. And for this purpose, if you need the data, if you need the contact person's details, I'm here to provide it to you and facilitate the platform for the integration and the linkage, and that's how we grow. The second important point is that the second innings is very important. We have about 40% women today in the higher education, so the educated women, as we say. And this 40% can easily become part of the women workforce or the workforce in general. Why is it that they are not becoming part of it? Is because of the reproductive and other family considerations. But then they have to start or restart at that 12th fail. No? The film said, restart. And yes, the restart could be actually better. So what do we do? Well, government has 2-3 very important schemes. One on, in general, you have subsidies for women entrepreneurship. But for the startups particularly, there is a reservation for women. 10% has to be given to women, and 33% has to be part of the exposure visits. So if the women want to go around and see what are the opportunities globally available, 33% will be the women beneficiaries. And then we have the SHG, Women SHG program, which has been very, very successful. And till date, as youth secretary, I tried to make boys come together, and I failed. So please carry on with success stories, and a great, great year ahead. Great year ahead for all the women entrepreneurs, and that is what augurs the best for the country. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for this. Ma'am, please be on stage. Thank you for the wonderful speech. It's lovely having you with us today at the event. Now I want to invite Nisri and Manjula to come on stage to give token of appreciation to Ms. Shalini Rajneesh, ma'am.
What a heroine.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, ma'am. Our next chief guest is Ms. Aishwarya DKS Hegde, ma'am. She is an educationist, entrepreneur, and investor. She will deliver keynote address on the theme How I See Empowerment. Please.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Sorry, I'm an educationist. It's very difficult for me to stand there and speak. Is it okay if I speak like this? It's a difficult task to speak after Ratnaprabha ma'am and Shalini Rajneesh ma'am. I don't know why they've put me on this slot, but I feel like they want to test the young women out here. But it's also a very privilege to be called among women like this. So thank you so much to the entire organizing team of heroines. And I feel every heroine here requires a tap on their back and say, yes, congratulations, because congratulations to each one of you, because I think it requires courage, commitment, and consistency to actually come and sit down to a program like this with a room full of women and say, I have come here to learn. So thank you so much, congratulations, and all the best for the journey forward. Myself, Aishwarya, to people who don't know me. But today when I was asked to speak, I was really wondering what am I going to speak. But being very passionate about the field I come from, 7 years working in education, and when I have to define to you what education actually means to me, is a thought I probably find curious among all of you, right? We all studied in schools, we went to colleges, now we're doing education journey in the jobs that we do. Education for me has always been taking ownership of your own learning, yeah? And raising responsible sons and powerful daughters. Why do I say powerful daughters is a question I want you to think for a minute. How many of you have daughters? So I'm speaking to a room that actually has context, right? When I say powerful daughters, why do I say powerful daughters? Why am I using the word power next to my prefix daughter is because most of the time we're always raising good, responsible daughters, but we're never trying to raise powerful daughters. We come from a country today where we're no more having a dominance of men. We don't live in a country with male dominance anymore. Do you agree with me? We're 50% of the population, or close to 50% of the population today. So we don't have to be scared of whether we do need equality. When we're equal in population, we need to demand for equality today, is what I have been taught in school or believe today as an equal citizen of my country. We only live in a male-biased society is what I would like to tell all of you today. And how many of you agree to this? Let me define the word bias to you. All of you know we are a farmer-rich country? Yes? When I say the word farmer, who comes to your mind? An old man standing somewhere trying to hold an axe and trying to open that soil? Yes? Can I tell you a fact today that 75% of the workforce of the Fapa community are actually women? The problem is not who is contributing whom, the problem is the narrative we are teaching our kids. That's why we are a male biased society and not a male dominant society today. Shocking? We need to change our grassroots levels like education, where our textbooks, whether it's CBSE, ICSE or state, are trying to teach heroes as men. 8 out of 10 heroes on our textbooks are men and not heroines. My title today is a heroine. When are those titles on those textbooks become heroine is my question to all of you today. Thinking, this thought has to go back to your powerful daughters at home, which will change empowered societies tomorrow. Ma'am brought up a great topic today, saying today the topic of women empowerment, or we're all celebrating women empowerment month today, Women's Day month today. I believe behind every great woman is another great woman, and sisterhood is the only solution to women empowerment. And I'm an educationalist, right? And I always try to go back and Google words. What is empowering? Have you ever tried to Google the word empower or empowering? When you Google empowering, it's actually granting the rights or the power to the woman to do what they want. Am I right, ma'am? There is a difference between granting, giving, and asking. We're still asking, guys. Please ask them to grant us. Let us grant the power to ourselves that we need to empower ourselves and the women around us to make a difference today. Let us change the narrative around us that we are already contributing, and let us get that contribution to our head, to our kitty, and say that we have made the noise. Let's just bring that narrative out to the people before even asking for things that we haven't done. Yeah? Make sense? Will you all raise powerful daughters today? Yes. It comes to a small thing. It's not just about the farmer narrative I brought you. Why is even a toy company always trying to market a toy of a car only to a boy today? Why a girl can't play with a car? Your narrative is going to change when you're looking at a Netflix show or even a Cartoon Network, and when you're seeing the doctors being played by a boy and a nurse being played by a girl, and you're going to point out to your child and say, this is wrong. A doctor can be a girl also, a nurse can be a boy also. You are going to point out the sexism that happens even at a show or even at a cartoon to your child, because you're teaching your child to challenge the bias out in your society. That will make a difference. And only by making that difference to your daughter today is when she is going to become that empowered woman tomorrow. I don't want to take more time today. I feel there are only 3 ways where we can empower ourselves. First way is to curiously ask yourself on what can I do that not another woman has done today, which will help not just me, but another woman around me. To allow your daughters to challenge things that will make a difference, that will not just ask for power, but grant and take our power that belongs to us. Today, we have Ratna Prabha ma'am, who's probably the first Chief Secretary of Karnataka sitting in front of me. It is the day we start thinking it's not about being the first in a field, it is to make sure you're not the last in that field. That day we will be empowered, that day we will change the world, and that day we will be empowered. Yeah? Will you all follow this 3 things? With that, happy Women's Day to all of you on this Women's Month. Make sure you raise powerful daughters in this field of education. Wishing all of you a very all the best. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to express my views. I hope I have not taken too much time.
No, ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am, for thought-provoking speech. I can completely resonate with your thoughts because I too have a daughter, and I promise myself I will raise a powerful daughter today.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much. With this, I want Nisri and Manjula to give token of appreciation to Miss Aishwarya, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. For special address, I would like to invite Mr. G. Shrikant, sir, Senior Vice President, Zonal Head, South, HDFC Mutual Fund. Sir, please come on stage.
Thank you. Well, I think to be present here and to be representing HDFC Mutual Fund, where we have supported initiatives of financial literacy amongst all, and with a specific objective also amongst women, is indeed a pleasure. But first, let me congratulate the team of heroines who have brought in together this big initiatives. And well, after the informative, insightful and powerful talk of the keynote speakers, I don't think so I can add much, but you have already taken away everything that one could have told. Well, I would only say this, that if we are celebrating this day, and also at a time where it is not about E Sala Kappu Namde, this is the time it is E Kappu Namde. So I think this is one of the best periods that we could have ever been celebrating this day. Few things, if you were to just look at probably yourselves and amongst friends and families, I would focus more on the financial instruments, because there are many other panel speakers who will speak on various other topics. All of us, many of you would be, would have invested in various financial instruments. But have you checked that how many of you or your family members, I'm talking about women, who are the first holders of those instruments? It's usually joint too. Rarely do women take the initiative, or the families take the initiative to make the woman the joint holder one. But while there is a spirit of enthusiasm, there's also a reality. Because of the way the predominant Indian family structure is built, by the time age passes and finances are to be managed, it is usually the woman of the house who inherits larger part of the financial wealth or the fixed assets, and she has to manage it later on. Now, but in a journey when both are present, but she is already joined two, but never joined one, to understand what is it that she has to do. So we face, like say for example, if I look at it as to number of cases in which, I'm talking about something very, very serious, of transmission cases, it's 80%, it actually transmission is to the woman, but she has never handled her finances. How do you overcome this? So from HDFC Mutual Fund, we have launched an initiative to make women as joint holder one, so that every woman participates and starts becoming aware of how to handle finances and how to participate in this huge opportunity of wealth creation through investments in the years that are there ahead of us. I would probably come back to you again during the panel. Thank you, and it's a great forum to be present here and to be supporting this initiative. Thank you, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the special address. I want to invite Suruchi for giving token of appreciation to Mr. G. Shrikant, sir. Big round of applause. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to call Mr. B. Ulagian, sir, DGM SIDBI, Bangalore Regional Office, for special address. Please come on stage, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Ellarku namaskara. First of all, I extend my sincere thanks to Ratna Prabha ma'am, Jyoti ma'am for providing the opportunity to be part of this event. And I would be touching upon few points. Madam spoke about accelerator growth and also talked about Government of India vision reaching $5 trillion economy. So it was an ambitious vision of Government of India, but to realize that vision, MSMEs, so all of your MSMEs here, present here, you have to double your contribution to GDP. So presently 30% is the MSME's contribution to GDP. We have to reach to 40% contribution. In absolute numbers, it has to be $0.9 trillion it has to reach $2 trillion. So then only we will be able to realize this vision of Government of India. But there are challenges. Okay, if we have to realize this vision, each one of you present here You have to double your productivity, you have to double your sales, you have to double your revenue. But how you can do this? Everyone need finance. And access to finance is one of the biggest challenges. So I am sure everyone present here would have faced a lot of challenges in accessing to finance when you reach to bank or a FI for availing your loan. So you would have had a plan for expanding your project, for expansion plan, you would have reached out to a bank. But I list out 4 major challenges from the MSME perspective. 1, TAT, turnaround time. So you have freezed your expansion plan, you reach to bank, and with the implementation period of say 15 days to 1 month. But when actually it takes more than a month or 2 months. So it is not in your control because of the process involved in the respective bank. So that is a big challenge. So what I am trying to convey you here, how SIDBI is going to address this? Because SIDBI has to play a critical role in realizing this vision to support the MSMEs, double their productivity, double their sales. Okay, so to achieve that direction, we have launched innovative credit products, innovative financing solution to support the MSMEs. So one is to address the TAT. So when you need machinery, when you need a funding for your expansion plan, we'll be able to support you within at least minimum 2 days to maximum 7 days. We'll be able to disperse you. We have got an innovative product. And number 2, the process. So when you reach to a bank, so the process is something cumbersome. So right from submitting application till you get the disbursement from a bank. So there are a lot of manual process involved. So what we did at SIDBI, we have totally digitized the process. So first time in India, the first institution in the country, we have digitized the entire lending process. Right from application till the disbursement. Where you'll be sitting at your factory or your office or at home, you'll be able to submit your application through online. Even at the time of documentation. So normally, most of you are aware how documentation happens. You have to visit the bank and you have to sign 100 pages of documents, which is not happening in SIDBI. Similarly, you will be sitting at your home or office, wherever you are there, we'll be sending you a link. By just clicking on the link, Aadhaar link OTP, just you have to feed and complete the documentation. Similarly, we don't visit you. So it is without face-to-face meeting, without physical meeting. Only once we visit your unit for a verification. Apart from this, everything is digital. So as I said, that is the first issue. So quick turnaround time. Number 2, the process, simplified process, totally digital process. And number 3, no collateral. So collateral is the biggest challenge again for the MSME to get a funding. So though CGTMDC is one of the major guarantee fund available from Central Government of India, again you may require to pay an additional fee. Plus, most of the banks are, honestly speaking, they are hesitant to cover loans under CGTMDC. So, to address this issue, what SIDBI has done, so normally when you approach a bank for a loan, for example, an amount of 1 crore, so bank would lend 75% and you may require to bring in 25%. Okay, so bank will give you 75 lakhs and you may have to bring in your own contribution 25 lakh. So, what SIDBI has done, that 25 lakh will convert as a FD. We'll fund you 100%. So that we convert as a cash collateral and we'll pay you back at the end of the loan tenure. So here, without collateral, whatever your contribution money, that will convert as a FD. So this is the no collateral. Again, the last point is the interest rate. So again, as of today, in the country, most competitive interest offered by SIDBI. So we are benchmarking with 2 different rates, MCLR and the repo rate. Some of the schemes are linked to repo and some are linked to MCLR, and SIDBI's MCLR is lowest in the country today. So these 4 challenges every MSME faces day in, day out, and this can be addressed by SIDBI.
No.
Okay. So you can reach out to us, SIDBI, anytime. We are based at MG Road, regional office in MG Road. We have 4 branches in Karnataka. So anytime, reach out to us, and we have attractive schemes. We'll be able to support you. And I would like to say one thing. as Madam was saying, powerful women, powerful daughter. Actually, the social change and the social transformation, which is critical for eradication of poverty, women empowerment, and to build progressive ethical society. This can be possible only by women. So that women, powerful daughters, powerful women, only they can create this change. I think together, let us create a change, let us make a beginning. I wish you all success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful speech. Now I want to invite Suma from Heroines team to give token of appreciation to Mr. B. Ulagian, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I will call Manjula Dharmlingam, founder of Her Second Innings, to please come on stage for vote of thanks.
Thank you, everyone, and thanks for the patience as well as thanks for the wonderful speech. And everybody is talking about Aishwarya, talking about the powerful daughter. So it's a heroines of everyone to bring the best out of you. We are joined together. So we would like to take a moment to thank esteemed guests over here. Let me just walk through. Sincere thanks to Ms. Ratnaprabha, IAS retired, former Chief Secretary, Government of Karnataka, and Ms. Shalini Rajneesh, IAS Additional Chief Secretary and Development Commissioner, Government of Karnataka. Ms. Aishwarya DKS Hegde, Educationist, Entrepreneur and Investor. And Mr. G. Srikanth, a Zonal Head, HDFC Mutual Fund. And Mr. B. Ulagian, DGM, SIDBI, Bangalore Regional Office. And all speakers who have just come over here and panelists, mentors and all supporters, ecosystem partners, gifting partners, and clients have just come over here to show what they have just done so far in the heroine community to just spread the happiness and the empowerment. They have just come. And along with that, all the well-wishers and our heroine team, plus all the heroines who are over here today and make other heroines to bring the best out of you. Wishing very, very, very all the best and wishing the Happy Women's Day, and thank you once again for all the ST members. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manjula. We want all the dignitaries to for a group pic. Please, ma'am, please. Bottom only, I think. Thank you, everyone. We are moving to the next session of the event. In today's fast-paced world, the workplace is constantly evolving with new technologies, shifting work structures, and changing workforce demographics. This brings both opportunities and challenges for professionals seeking to thrive in the modern work environment. So, topic for our first panel discussion is Career Matters: Changing Work, Workforce, and Work Culture, How to Gear Up to the Changes. Meanwhile, they are arranging chair. There is a DEI and Leadership Development Biocon Biologics who will be moderating the discussion. Welcome, sir. Can you please have you on stage? So please, esteemed panelists, Malini Narayan Murthy, Country Head Renesas. Ma'am, please come on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please big round of applause for our esteemed panelist and moderator. Next, let me invite Sukanya Ramachandran, Head of DEI Wipro Limited. Welcome, ma'am. Next panelist is Ramya Sampath, Head of India Partner Engineering LinkedIn. Welcome, ma'am. Our next panelist is Aruna Newton, Global Head Diversity and Inclusion, Sustainability, Governance and Reporting, Infosys Limited. Welcome, ma'am. Looking forward for the mindful and thought-provoking panel discussion. Over to you, Mr. Chella.
Surrounded with phenomenal leaders with me, and happy to be a minority here in the stage and also in the hall. So my name is the answer is yes, I know him, but I don't think he knows me. So I'm just making it clear. So it so happened I came in blue. So I'm not all blue, I didn't realize. And it is not a gender quote for me to say blue is for men. So that's not what I mean by my dressing, because in LinkedIn I posted gender identity is gender agnostic. So I'm a gender neutral person. And I call it as human being. And I thought inclusive human being is what I identify myself as. So with that, what's interesting is the way the whole program is structured, right? So I saw career matters, money matters, travel matters, and health matters. I think very inclusively you have looked at the panel discussions today. So I was very thrilled with the way the organizers have looked at the contents for the panel. So I get a few minutes because after that I don't get my mic only to ask questions. So I thought I'll take this to just set the context. When we talk about career, there are several types of careers we can talk, but we have chosen to speak very few things because it can go on for more than 40 minutes. So we have structured it in a manner that we will be talking more about inclusiveness for the career. And the difference between job and career is huge, and a lot of people think it's a thin line difference. For me, it is a thick line difference. Job is something which you choose for interim period, and the career is something which you look at long term. If career matters, it means you are looking for a long-term establishment in your growth. It means an organization should provide opportunity for you to grow. And if you go to the psychology part of how people grow in organization, it's just not about the opportunity, but it's also about your self-inclusion. The self-inclusion comes when you feel that you're connected to the purpose of the organization. So that's one part I wanted to talk about, that if you're not connected to the purpose of the organization, the self-inclusion doesn't come, because purpose will drive you. Second, the organization should include you. Otherwise, you'll not be feeling valued. And anytime when we feel not valued, I don't see that we connect to the organization and we don't stay for a longer. So career will matter, or career matters when there is a self-inclusion and there is an inclusion from the organization. And when you feel included, when you feel valued, there is a great level of belongingness comes. Then one starts feeling it's my company, my product, my patient, my customer. And then you stay there even if the organization is not doing well, or if you're not completely growing, but you'll still be patient and grow because you feel it's my company. So this belongingness is something which I've been doing a lot of research on to see how do we bring this belongingness into the organization. So today's conversation with 4 leaders with me here is also going to be towards how each of them look at from their own perspectives in terms of how they create inclusion in their organization or in their leadership, since they have phenomenal experience from different organizations or with their diverse work experience. So with that, I'm going to turn to them, and I'm also very eager as much as you to see what perspectives comes from each of the leaders here. So I'll be looking at mobile, not that I'm checking my WhatsApp, but I thought I'll use the technology, because the theme is also what's changing is everything is changing today, right? A lot of disruptions. So either I'll use technology than writing in notes and coming to all of you. So one thing which struck me when I was talking to Nisari and the organizers is work is changing, workforce is changing, work life is changing. And the easy question is, what is not changing? Right? We all go through tremendous change. So each of you have your experience of that. So I'll start with Aruna. Aruna is a good friend of mine, and I get inspired by some of the work she does in the DEI space. So Aruna, the question for you is, how do you balance the priorities of DEI, and also you're focused on sustainability to a larger extent? And within Infosys or generally from your leadership, what strategies have been most effective in driving this process? Where I want you to connect to the career is also about the inclusion part.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for this kind invitation. I was just listening to the inspiring discussions this morning, and I thought we're just on the right track. There is no reason why we shouldn't achieve that 5 trillion. With the power that we have in this room and the power outside of this room, I think it's possible. Thank you, Jala. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. The question you've asked is very very deep. And let me just give you a sense of what I mean by deep. Way back in 2010, 2011, when the co-founder of Infosys, Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan, was on the United Nations Global Compact, he stood up and made a commitment that Infosys would become carbon neutral in 2020. Of course, when he came back and he told us, we looked at each other. We had no idea where to start. And, at that time, we were sent off to a tour of India. And we were asked to study the construction of mosques, temples, palaces, of which India has plenty, to kind of understand what keeps them comfortable and ambient despite changes in weather, without all the modern technology that we speak of. At that time, of course, we went off on a holiday and we got some great findings. We recognized when we made this commitment to carbon neutrality, everybody said, what does a services company, IT services company, have to do with carbon? I mean, that's for the manufacturing guys. And that's when I wanted to point out that 40% of global GHG emissions come from the built environment. An industry like ours requires the built environment, right? And more than 30% of global energy use happens in these built environments. So it is extremely important for us to consider how we construct even buildings and promote efficiency, even in the services sector. So, ma'am, thank you for that wonderful, kind grant of land in Hyderabad, which serves as a massive experimentation hub for new technologies. So we piloted and patented a technology called radiant cooling, where we actually have twin buildings, a conventionally cooled building and one cooled with water. And we have now readings for over now 10, 15 years. And we have discovered that the radiant cooled building is almost 40% more efficient, consuming less electricity, and is healthier, especially when you have conditions of respiratory disease. Now, the reason I bring this out, and of course, needless to say, we went on and achieved our carbon neutrality vision, and we were honored by the United Nations. But I think at that time, we asked ourselves, so what do we do next? And that's when we came up with our ESG Vision 2030. At the time, Jala, I was also leading the DEI Charter for Infosys. And I told myself that the DEI ambition has to figure in the ESG vision for Infosys, because the ESG goals are on the corporate scorecard. So I think the first step is creating the alignment of DEI beyond being a great HR strategy to integrating it with business strategy. Yeah? At Infosys, the opportunity that presented itself with a lot of fight was presenting DEI and making our ambition very, very clear. As you are possibly aware that, we still have some data on women and men. Of course, today, everything with data privacy can be information that someone chooses not to give you. Everything else is a voluntary disclosure. So we took a goal on our ESG vision for DEI and called out a number target of at least 45% women in the workforce. And we made it deliberately 45% because there's also a recognition that we don't want any dimension to have the upper hand. Of course, there's a third gender. There are many other dimensions that we want to also make it inclusive. So the first step is make the DEI vision strategic to the business, not just the talent strategy. Sometimes it just slips. As a result, it's on the CEO's scorecard. And everyone's anxious. If nothing else, they're tracking it every month. Yeah? So as a result, today we have the highest percent of women in IT in India. at about 39.8%. But it's getting tougher to get to that 45. It's not as easy. So I think the principal strategy is get it on the scorecard. Don't make DEI a people strategy, make it a business strategy. We have no asset in our kind of organizations. People are our only assets. You might remember Mr. Murthy's quote way back in 81, that at 5:30 p.m. all my assets leave the gate, and I hope they will return the next morning. So I mean, that's why the people strategy is business strategy. I think it took a long time for organizations to go beyond saying nice things about the initiative to making it integral. But I think I will only hang up my boots when we actually see women in P&L positions in the executive leadership. We figured it out in the board leadership, but I think the challenge is to make it happen in the executive leadership. So this year we've created a campaign adopting the UN campaign and Inspire Inclusion campaign, and we call it Spot It to Stop It. And the Spot It to Stop It is just the message that Aishwarya gave. You know, there's a worldview that we have that is shaped by our own experiences, by the way we look at something, by our own learnings and our backgrounds. And oftentimes that becomes the lens that can be limiting in the way we look at an opportunity. So I'll end with a very small example, a personal example. In 2008, when we had the Mumbai terror attacks, when all of India was reeling, it was a dastardly attack. It hit the democracy, and of course, it hit the heart of our business, and economy, literally, the Mumbai terror attacks. At that time, the then Home Minister, Mr. Chidambaram, gave a call to action. And he said all places of economic interest must be secured. Electronic City, of which I'm a part, and the Infosys company is a part, also had a huge challenge. And the captains of industry got together and said, we must secure Electronic City because it's a massive place of economic interest, like ports, harbors, nuclear power stations, any other institutions. And I remember at that time, I put up my hand and I said, I'd like to lead this effort. The backstory is prior to that, I had delivered the elevated road on Hosur Road, and I thought that I could do anything. That wasn't my field, but guess what? I got the project off the ground. The captains looked at each other, Mr. Azim Premji, Mr. Murthy, Mohandas Pai, all of them looked at each other and they said, why not? I mean, she delivered this road, right? And so I started. I called my first Security Council meeting. And we were talking about a multi-layer security presence, the police, the company security, the national security, fire, dog squad. I mean, we were talking about multiple layers. So I called a meeting of the security personnel for this inaugural meeting with me chairing the Security Council at 3 p.m. one afternoon. And at around 3:05, the person who helped me organize came and said, ma'am, I've made 50 cups of hot tea and coffee all ready to be served. I said, superb. At 3:15, he came in and he said, ma'am, remember that 50 cups of hot tea and coffee, they're 15 minutes colder, just for your information. Nobody had turned up. At 3:30, he said, ma'am, is there a change in the timing? I said, no. And around 3:40, I realized with a sinking feeling that I had actually been stood up, and that the constituents of this particular meeting, it just so happened they were all men, were telling me silently, without saying it in so many words, that they didn't see me as credible enough to be leading the security function. In fact, and for a minute I felt hot tears stinging my eyes. I was so embarrassed, I was humiliated, and I thought I'm just going to go back and tell the captains of industry, how dare you set me up like this? The least, these are, services people. They've heard of RSVP. They could actually send a note to say that they're not going to come. I mean, where's courtesy? And then I saw this, I visualized a conversation. And I visualized the captain saying, oh no, we made a mistake. I think we got carried away. We've set her up. We should have known this would happen. The men would not accept her. I opened my eyes with a start. And I said, I'm not going to let that happen to me. I sent off the minutes of a non-existent meeting. And I said, gentlemen, I appreciate security is not the matter of boardrooms. It's a subject that requires to be discussed on the field. going forward, all our meetings will be held in the field. I went on to lead security for 7 years after that. It taught me a massive lesson. You know, I'm reminded, Stephen Covey, in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he made a point. And he said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies your power to choose your response. I think people like Mrs. Ratnaprabha have demonstrated their live examples of the choices that they've made. Every one of us has the power to make that choice. Thanks, Jala.
Sure, thank you. Well, that's very inspiring, and your personal story was very apt to what we are talking today in terms of career, and so the 40% is very impressive, and we are 30, and we will get there being a pharmaceutical company. So I'm going to, I'm surrounded with 2 business leaders and 2 diversity, equity, inclusion leaders. So I'm going to come to Suganya last. So I'll get a perspective from Malini, who's a country head for Renesas. So Malini, with your tremendous experience, and I'm not sure we will be able to take 2 rounds of questions, but maybe I'll club these 2 and ask you one single question, keeping career matters as in mind. So how do you anticipate and prepare for changes in workforce, which needs emerging skills or skill requirements to stay ahead of the curve?
Hi everyone. Firstly, a quick setting of what I do. I'm an electronics engineer. I work in a company called Renesas, and what we do is build chips for the electronics industry. So Renesas itself, we build, for instance, chips all the way from automotive, say autonomous driving, to consumer electronics, to so many different applications, metering. So you all might be able to appreciate this, but this is probably one of the first meetings in like, I don't know, a year or 2 since I've seen more women in the room than men. I always, almost, walk into a room of blue suits and very little color in the outfits. So to talk a little bit about Renesas as well as the whole sustainability side of things. Take, for instance, an Instant Pot. I don't know if any of you have worked with an Instant Pot. It's a gadget. It's like a pressure cooker that works on electricity. The little microcontroller sitting in there and the panel sitting in there, that's the kind of stuff we develop. Now, I make this joke often about innovation. Where does innovation end, right? It ends when everything in the world is almost systematic, robotic, right? So there's a lot to go. And when there's a lot to go, there's always work. And that means there's always new skills that are necessary. When you need new skills, to your question, how do we kind of keep up with those skills? There are a few ways in which we can keep up with the skills. The first thing is, people love challenges, right? When you want to design new electronics constantly, you just have to put people up to the job of it and give them the opportunity. That's the first step. And the second step is to go and motivate them. And as leaders, I think that's a huge responsibility on us, not to just give the task, but to go sit down and find ways of motivating people to go accomplish that task. And more so in the context of women, right? Because I'm talking to this audience on this topic, I want to talk a little bit about that. When you are talking about innovation, electronics, engineering to women, it's very important that you take that extra step, because remember, they are one in a room of usually 10 or 15 men on almost any meeting, to go and tell them, hey, you're good, you can do this, speak up, and don't get discouraged, and give that confidence. So one of the things that I do, and this is a little bit more actionable, so I'm hoping that will speak to a lot of you. Anytime we hire a woman in Renesas India, I spend about 5 minutes of my time. I say, pull me out from whichever meeting I am for 5 minutes, and I'll go talk to the woman. And I'll say, where are you in your life? Where are you in your career? What do you want to be? And sometimes I'll get the answer, I want to be you. And sometimes I'll get the answer, I don't know, I have kids at home, I don't know, I'm trying to balance. And I'll have a little pep talk and I'll tell them, hey, I have kids too. And these are the things I did to make it work. And if you ever feel that you want to have that conversation with me, let's have that conversation. And I don't know, someone on the stage mentioned earlier in the inaugural address, each one of us, if we take a little bit of time to encourage and empower a couple more women like this, I think we'll hit that 45% number or the, or even higher, What makes us not be even higher than that? So that's my little bit from the electronics industry.
Well, that's powerful, and thank you for the commitment to take the number. And I always feel if you take everything to 50-50, what happens to the other genders? Right? I think we should be very careful about not taking it to 50, rather keep some space for other genders to come. I think that's where the world is going. Thank you for sharing and being a country head, and your perspective is very important. So I'm going to come to Ramya Sampath, who is the head of India Partner Engineering LinkedIn. So Ramya, how do you see, I'm just going out of the question I've drafted, a lot of emerging skills are coming, right? And LinkedIn plays a huge role, and very nice to see many back to work program people, and we're talking about second innings, and many of them find opportunity through LinkedIn as well. So my question to you is, as a platform known for connecting professionals and facilitating career development, how do you see digital platforms like LinkedIn shaping the future of work and also the future skills?
Sure, yeah. First off, very humbled and honored to be part of this cohort. It's really good to see that there's so many passionate women here who are not just seeing this as, oh, another diversity talk, but actually trying to get the best out of us. So I would definitely want to say, please make the best use of this session, and if there are any conversations later, I'm always open up. Just to introduce myself, I head partner engineering at LinkedIn. My main day-to-day role is to connect with multiple enterprise companies, make integrations with LinkedIn, and empower the global workforce. The vision still stays true. We want to provide work opportunities for the global workforce. On the other side, I'm also Women in Tech lead for India and APAC, where I'm actually managing and bringing women from all sorts and corners of the world to tech industry. I know we are pretty good, or at least on the services side, I've just heard, but we are actually very shy of 25% on the tech side. I don't have a lot of peers that I can boast about and say, oh, we have super product industry oriented women, right? We don't see a lot of women who's taking that next leap and getting into like Facebook, Google, Microsoft, LinkedIn, and other companies. So I would love to have more of you starting to venture into product industries as well. And if you need any help, I'm here to help. Now, talking about platform, I think I heard about change first. Of course, you all know change is the only constant. We also heard about innovation. Innovation is also something that's going to be part of change. And one thing that everybody hears today is Gen AI. Gen AI is not the first skill that came in that everybody is now starting to skill up. We have to be skilling up at any point in time. Whether you are starting your career, whether you are in prime of your career, you need to keep yourself updated. For especially women who are willing to take a break and coming back, you definitely have a long way to go. I'm not here to talk about promoting LinkedIn. I think the session itself is doing a lot of that, thanks to you guys. But LinkedIn is a great way for you to understand what the community is. It's not a jobs-only platform. So please use the community for your own benefit. Talk to people who have been in a role, right? Like for people who you can reach out to, ask them questions of how can I actually gain my skill sets to become you. So platform is actually doing so much. Today you are seeing feed being filled with new avenues to learn. There are too many mentors who have put up their hands to say, please, I can be your mentor to learn practically. There are a lot of folks who are actually providing courses online. There are different ways for you to keep yourself updated. So start being in that crowd. There is a saying that if you're feeling too comfortable about yourself, you're actually not growing. That's very true when it comes to the professional world. And that's exactly what LinkedIn is trying to do today. Again, not about LinkedIn, but any platform that you see that it's actually empowering you to become more professionally and technically oriented, please do that. This is the time for you to be there. And there's no gender diversity topic at all. I wouldn't agree with the 50%, by the way. To me, diversity is diversity in thoughts. Diversity creates disruptive actions, and that's the only way for us to succeed. If you guys want to create a men in tech, please go ahead and do that. Women are going to power through, and there's no permission to be able to take that forward. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Ramya. And I'm going to go Sukanya, and the rest of the time is all yours, Sukanya. Want to be inclusive. But the question is, the talent doesn't know gender, and leadership doesn't know gender. I completely agree. But there is a need for today to call out. I'm just responding to Ramya. Unless we call it, there's a big elephant in the room. I think that's what even all of you will agree, and then I'm sure Aruna and Sukanya are also going to agree with that. So Sukanya, to you, your thoughts around being a DEI expert and subject matter expert and then done phenomenal work there. How do you see the increasingly important in shaping organizational culture? And if you can add the inclusion part there and then see how the career fits into that part as well.
Absolutely. So I think I'll start, by thanking, for having me here. So Chella, like you said, I think the most important part is purpose. So unless you relate to the purpose and the vision that the organization has, you will not feel a sense of belonging to the organization. So how we've structured is that, you have a purpose and then you build your culture dovetails into the purpose. Your culture speaks about inclusion, your culture speaks about well-being, and then you have your diversity, equity, and inclusion, which basically builds on the culture. So it's not that, diverse DEI is a strategy, DEI is a number, but it's actually a part of our overall business purpose that we stand for. And like Aruna said, it's not my agenda, it's not the CHRO agenda, it's actually the CEO who's the sponsor. And I'll tell you why it makes a change, because typically when you look at women, and in the IT industry, if you look at an entry level, you will see a 50-50%, So when you go to campuses, you recruit equally. But then you'll see it taper as it goes up. And from the time, we've shifted it to making it like a CEO agenda, we've seen a 3x increase in women just in the leadership layer. In last 3 years, we've grown by 3x. The mix has changed. So that's the kind of difference, having, leaders buy-in and having it as a part of your overall framework helps. I could go on and on about DEI, and feel free to look up the website. It has all the details, and I have the bell ringing. But yeah, I think diversity, we speak about all forms of diversity, be it women, be it LGBTQ, be it multi-generational, be it race and ethnicity. I think all of that is important. And just quickly, I'll just tell you, because we have so many women in the room, so we also have something like the Begin Again, which inspires from second innings. To help returning mothers get back to work, we've crafted a program which helps them ease back into the job, and also at the entry level, etc. How it's not only within the organization, but we are now also working with communities where we can see more women coming into the STEM from a workforce aspect. So that's a little bit about what Wipro does.
Yeah, thanks, Sukanya. I know the career matters, also the bell matters. Keep getting the bell. So I thought we'll open to audience, but we've given the 2 minutes. 5 minutes you have. Okay. So we'll just open to audience because it'll be unfair if I just close it like this, right? So there is so much of depth of knowledge they have. But I have a lot of questions, but time is a problem. So let's open to the audience if you have any questions.
Anybody has questions from the room?
Thank you. Hi. I think one of the key questions that I probably would bring, probably all of us in this room, is when we talk about inclusivity, when we talk about women in leadership, when we talk about, the dwindling set of people in the top form, we always talk about it's on the women, we need to do this and we need to do that, we need to speak up, all of that aside. When will men be inclusive in this conversation when they listen to the fact that coming back to workforce because I have a child is a repeated conversation that comes up. Why does that does not come up for a man? Why does it not come up for him that, hey, I have a child at home and therefore I'll not be able to take up this responsibility? This will only and only move when we have men also in this room listening to this conversation, isn't it?
I didn't know what I was getting into. But I'm used to. So if I can answer the men perspective from here, I think one of the recent second innings kind of a conversation with hundreds of women who have taken a career break, when I spoke about what are the reasons mostly it is maternity, it is about health, taking care of parents, following husband. And rarely you see these things are applicable to men. I think the world has to change. And I do see house husbands, and there are my friends who have started. I had an opportunity to do that for 3 months, but my wife said, no, go earn and come. So it's happening, but a lot more to happen. But any other perspectives?
I'll just add, okay? So I'll say that what we look at men as allies, or other gender as allies. And when we look at people and when we train people, like it said, a good story maybe makes you think differently, but a good training is something that makes you behave differently, right? So we focus a lot on this aspect. We're focusing on making policies gender neutral. We call parental care rather than, like a maternity leave concept. We have leaves extended to both the genders, or, whoever is the primary caregiver has the ability to take leave. So I think it's a change, but I do see the needle moving, and I think it's a lot of responsibility on, people like us to take that forward.
Yeah, no, I like that response. I just want to leave you with two reflections. If we have to wait for the world to look deep into its conscience and make the change, we probably will not be around to see it. Yeah, it may take 100, 200, and who knows if it'll ever happen. I think now is the time, without shame, to actually allocate. And this is an idea that I'm suggesting. Allocate a quota. It's not a bad word. I don't mind being a quota. My performance will tell you what I am, right? But I think if we don't recognize and deliberately attend to it, it's not going to happen. So that's just one idea I think we should keep in mind. I think the second piece, there's a Harvard study that was done, where I believe 3,000 women were asked only one question. And the question was, would you like to have a male boss or a female boss? Just one question. And apparently in that study, what do you think was the overwhelming response? Funny, right? Sisterhood of women and some stuff that we speak of. Interestingly, women many times are their own enemies. Yeah. So I was just speaking to a crowd of Indian Bank employees, and I was saying, why would women do a thing like that? I mean, that's literally like shooting yourself in the foot. So why would you say male boss? No, madam. And this person said it very simply, very simplistically, but there's a lot of meaning in that. See, if you want to take some time off, suppose you want to go home, you're not feeling nice, no? If you tell the male boss, no, he will say, go, please rest, drink plenty of water, don't strain yourself. If I tell the female boss, she will say, why, what happened? I got up at 4 o'clock, I cooked 3 meals today. I also got in 50 minutes of meditation. I have come all the way, and I don't have a driver, I drive to work. You know me, I stay on till 9:30 when all of you go off at 5. What's your trip? So let it be male boss only. It was done in a very simple, very humble way, but that is the reality that we're all sitting on. The big, fat, white elephant in the room is your own thinking. Yeah. So when we say the world should change, etc., I'm always reminded of the wisdom of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation. Be the change you want to see. Can you be consistent? Of course, you can't win every battle. Of course, your own might and power is not going to change everything around you, but it will make such a huge dent that no one's going to forget it. Just thought I'll offer that perspective.
Okay, we have 30 seconds for one more question, which could be for Ramya or Malini. Anyone has any questions? That's the last question we can take.
To hear all of you, it really feels great. I have only one question. So, as Aruna ma'am said just now, today morning I woke up at 4:30, cooked 3 meals, literally, and then I have taken a cab and come here to attend this Okay, now the question is, when I take up those responsibilities saying it is my responsibility to feed the family, my responsibility, it's my own responsibility to go to Infosys and then work as a delivery manager, and it's my responsibility to come back and teach my kids and prepare them for exams. And I take pride in these things. One question that my son asked me, okay, you're doing all of this, and you're also saying nobody asked me to do this, but still you're doing. Can you do all Papa's work? He goes out and he does all the transactions in the bank. He does everything for registration, property, dealings and everything. Can you do that? And then you can expect anything from Papa back, which is so true. So what is your opinion about how we have to empower ourselves to do the other side of the job also? Because today we feel pride in cooking and stuff like that and then managing family. But do we have to really look at the other part and then take big venture out?
Okay, I'll give you a different perspective, okay? So I took on this job about a little bit more than a year. And I have 2 kids myself, and I feel like the cooking is on my head. I feel that I'm responsible to make sure the kids are fed. But the reality of it is, in the last year, I've been struggling. I've been struggling to keep that up. And I've been thinking about this as well. Why am I struggling? Well, my job right now is extremely, it's busy. So for me, the way I've dealt with it personally, I've had a chat with my husband, and he's taken on more of the chores at home, and he's really helping me out with the chores at home, while I'm taking on a little bit more of, between my job, sitting on the computer, booking stuff, looking at some of the finances. I think a large part of it is how we negotiate, honestly. Negotiate not just at work, but negotiate at home as well. So yesterday, and just to end this with a joke, yesterday I came home at about 8 o'clock, and I told my husband, we were having a chat, and my husband said, well, the reality of it is you're very busy. It's very good that I work, and then today our daughter needed some teaching. I taught her, I took her swimming, I took my son, and I played tennis, and then I fed them. You are busy, what can I do? And I'll end with that, saying, you have to negotiate. You have to make that work for yourself. And it's a give and take, end of the day.
I'll just add 2 seconds to it. Let's make parenting gender agnostic. There's no difference between mommy and papa or mom and dad, right? Like, it's a parent. Any parent can do anything. It's about what they are efficient to do. That's it. And this can switch roles. Very similar to how we are doing at work. Today, when I went in, I didn't know about some of the conversations that I was doing. I didn't know about product strategy. I learned it. I developed my skill set. I'm now running product strategy for multiple programs at LinkedIn. Why can't you do the same at home? Teach each other the skill set, take rotations and start planning it. Make it more gender agnostic, let each other help each other and be working on it. There should be no conversation that this is how we've been doing traditionally. Isn't that the same conversation we are doing today? Are we not disrupting some of the infrastructure that we are running out of all the companies and changing it right now? Can we not be a startup at home? Think about it, and you will be able to come up with a lot of innovative options. If you are picking something at home, then the other person should also be able to do that. Right? Let's make it more gender agnostic, and you will definitely see wonders happening from there. Thank you.
I just wanted to share one of the, experiences I had when I attended one of these seminars. This is a constant question, how does a woman multitask, whereas the man doesn't. So in one of the seminars when this discussion was going on, house was full of women, and women said, we are doing this. The men don't do it. Then one elderly man got up and said, can I make my point? And then he said that it is you women who have made us useless. You think that you can do everything. You think you can manage everything at home. He says, when I want to do something, I enter the kitchen. My wife says, no, you can't do this. I will do it. And if I do something, she says, no, this is not the way it should be done. This is the way it should be done. So he says, I mean, maybe it was a joke, but then it is true also that we women think that we can only take care of the home. I mean, it's our forte. We think we can only do it. So as you mentioned, this younger generation now has started sharing. And we should try to sort of decentralize and give responsibilities to the husband and the kids. And our work can be the priority, as you mentioned. And the negotiation, more than negotiation, I think teaching them and, you know, trying to, even if they make mistakes, allow them to make the mistakes and let them learn and let them take the responsibility. That's what is one of what he said. I think was really true, though he said it in a lighter vein. I think we women think that the whole house maintenance or management is our forte. I think that we should sort of delegate it. Thank you.
So I have one question that will definitely help for all women right here. Okay, so it's just directly to Ramya ma'am, who's representative from LinkedIn. Since it's all about second innings, do you provide, I don't know, so I am a LinkedIn active, whatever, premium member, and I have 13K plus followers. I'm suggesting you for a second innings woman, it's good to give some offers for LinkedIn Premium, so that will help all the women right here to.
Yeah, thank you for that question. We are already ahead of that and we are already working towards making that happen. I actually am running a specific initiative called Return In, where we have piloted this and we've brought women not just for apprenticeship but also getting them a full-time job and being able to do that in a product industry. And we are doing more, and there's already works of how can we make this happen for you all and giving you some premium membership coupons as well. Yeah, so it's already in the works.
So with
but
that
by the
note-
way, men, I think it's a joint partnership. Like, I want to make sure that this is not who wins first, right? Like, this is a joint partnership and it can only work that way. So let's kind of do that together. Yeah, thank you.
So with that note, want to be inclusive to the organizers, right? So they've been showing the note. So thank you so much, and it's been wonderful to hear your perspectives. And I conclude with saying inclusion is all matters, and wish you all the best for your finding your careers. If you're looking for, if you're already doing your job, then build your strong career. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining us for the career panel discussion. It was an insightful discussion. Now I would like to invite Revati from HSI team to give small token of appreciation to Mr. Chela Pandian Pichai. Big round of applause for Mr. Chela. Thank you, sir. Now I want to invite Priya from HMT team to give small token of appreciation to Miss Malini Narayan Murthy. Thank you, ma'am. Now I want to invite Loveleen from HMT team to give small token of appreciation to Ms. Sukanya Ramachandran. Big round of applause. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I want to invite Pooja from HMT team to give small token of appreciation to Ms. Ramya Sampal. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I want to invite Yamini from HMT team to give small token of appreciation to Ms. Aruna Newton, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. One group pic, please be on. Remember, I have given you one task to post on LinkedIn to explain about 3 heroines of your life. So we have got close to 4 posts on LinkedIn. First person who has posted on LinkedIn and tagged us is Kirti Yadav. Can you please come on stage, Kirti? We have Kirti in the room, please. She'll be getting this 5K worth gift voucher. Everybody, please, big round of applause for Kirti. Suma, please hand over the prize. Thank you everyone for posting on LinkedIn. This shows that how much enthusiastic you are and how much active you are in the event. In India, tea is more than just a beverage. It's a ritual that brings people together, connecting cultures and generations. Tea conversation transcends time and space, creating a sense of unity and camaraderie. So we are heading for a small tea break for 10 minutes. We have tight-packed agenda planned ahead, so please come back after tea sip.